this particular case, though, with 15 to 20 foot faces, it was very, very, very important that we stay on the back of the swell. So as I then throttled up, I'm timing it, and I'm timing it, and everybody's sitting there in the pilot house, and I'm timing it, and I'm timing it, and it's time to throttle up. And it's time to throttle up and stay on back of the swell. And as I throttle up with full power from twin 250s, it's 500 horsepower, as I do that, the spectra and the monofilament tighten around the prop shaft. I was fine at 10 knots, but as I try and go 20 knots or 25 knots, it cinches down like a Chinese finger puzzle and cinched down. Cinched down enough to where it killed one of the motors. And the other motor's all I got. And I'm trying to stay with it, and as I'm trying to stay with it, here we are on the back of the swell like this, and it starts to leave us. And as it's leaving us, I can't stay with it because I don't have enough power. And the swell behind us picks us up like this and pitch pulls us end over end. So, we didn't barrel roll. We kind of quartered to one side and then went motor over bow, boom, like that. Now imagine that. Imagine that in this size boat, going motor over bow, tower on top like this, with 6 people inside. It kind of makes the hair stand up on my arms just even remembering it, kind of reliving it. Fortunately, well, I'm going to show you one more slide. That's what the inside of the pilot house looked like afterwards. A lot of the glass on the bottom there, a couple of the windows broke out. But fortunately, none of the crew, none of the other 5 guys had their life jackets on yet. Nobody had them on. Imagine, if you will, the boat doing a turtle, and everybody's got their life jackets on, even the goofy orange ones I was talking about before. And now you're standing on the roof of the boat, and the boat immediately fills up with water, and everybody goes against the floor, which is now the ceiling, the floor. There would have been no way to get out of the boat if everyone had put on their life jackets. It filled up. First of all, when it went over, 2 of the windows broke. The door shut for a minute, and then we got it back open. One guy put his hand between the door, snapped it in position, and the other folks that were on the boat scurried down through the door and out and under the gunnel of the boat, and were now on that side right here, right there, holding on. Here's where it gets interesting for me. I was wearing one of these automatic inflatable life jackets. Anybody own these? Raise your hand if you own these. You own one? Okay. A lot of folks own these because they're comfortable. I need a volunteer. You want to be my volunteer? All right, come on up here. I'm going to put this on you. Okay. All right, so an automatic inflating life jacket is much more comfortable. Put your arm through that and your arm through that. Is much more comfortable than a manually inflating, or I'm sorry, than an orange foamy or the vest type. It's much more comfortable. You see that? But if it's an automatic inflating life jacket, it doesn't have this cord right here. I mean, it does, but it automatically inflates when you fall in the water. It's designed to inflate when you fall in the water. That's doing its job. And so when you fall in the water, it inflates and allows you to, even if you're unconscious, to float with your head above the water. And it's comfortable to wear all day long. But what happened, because I had the life vest in automatic mode, it immediately inflated when the boat turtled and the boat filled up with water. So I'm driving the boat, And as everybody else swam out of the boat, this is what happened. Okay? It did that. So it inflated, and I'm a bigger guy than this guy. It came up like this, and as it inflated, it grabbed me like this. Okay? And flew me against the floor, which is now the ceiling, which is now the floor, in about this much air. And it's pitch black, and the water temperature is 55 degrees. And pitch black, and it happened like that. So now all of a sudden, we can take this off of you right here, okay? So now all of a sudden, this is worthless. All this smoke, all these flares, the EPIRB, the raft, the spotlight, the handheld radio, the cell phone, everything is worthless when it's pitch black, you're upside down, it's inflated. You can go ahead and sit down. It's inflated, and you're against the floor, the ceiling, which is the floor, like this, and you can't get out, and you're breathing in about this much air. And it's black, and you're, completely scared to death, and adrenaline's going. And fortunately, I had my Spyderco knife in my pocket. Now, a Spyderco knife, you can open with one hand. And I've always carried a knife on this side. In fact, I carry two now. And I carry it on this side. And so I couldn't undo it because there's so much pressure, but I reached down like this, and I could open it with one hand, and I went pow, 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 and I popped the life vest. I took a breath from the pocket, looked down to where the light is, swam down towards the door, got out and around the corner. Now, this is the actual life jacket that I was wearing. And I circled the three places where I popped it. You can see here and here and here after it inflated, where I popped it. Had I not had a knife in my pocket, I would have died in the cabin of that boat. There would have been no way to get out. Because the pressure is so strong against you, and you're held like this, and there's no way to get it off or get out of it, especially in those kind of conditions. It would have filled up rapidly, that last little pocket there, and I would have drowned. In fact, a couple of years after that, a couple of guys drowned down at the Coronado Islands. I don't know if you remember that. They were in the V-berth of their boat, and they were found dead in the V-berth of their upside-down boat with life jackets on because they couldn't get out. So this was the one piece of equipment that saved my life that day, this simple pocket knife. None of the other thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And those are the kind of things that you have to mentally prepare for and think about as you head off to sea in an environment that can be incredibly hostile. And the Spyderco knives, love those Spyderco knives, man. Open them with one hand, save your life. And I appreciate everybody attending tonight. And hopefully you got something out of tonight's series, and it might save your life someday. Really appreciate you guys coming.